This video, I'm going to talk to you about the competitive versus creative mindset and which one can bring you more resources. Hey guys, it's Abby and thank you for watching this video. So I picked up these concepts in the book, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. I had to double check because that is a mouthful for me. Wallace Wattles, Science of Getting Rich. It's an absolutely fantastic book that I highly recommend that you listen to or read it. I listened to it on an audiobook. It was only 2 hours and it had some major paradigm shifts for me personally. This is one of the biggest ones that I wanted to share with you today. So what does that mean, these two different ideas, competitive versus creative? Well, in the Western society, there's a lot of obsession with wealth, right? You want to get rich, you want to have the cars, you want to, have more money. Well, on the process of doing that, people have this competitive mindset. They feel that if somebody else gets a sale, if somebody else goes and gets this money in this deal, that means less for them. So you're in competition with these resources. If somebody else gets more, that means less for you. It's a limited supply, and you're always kind of fighting and scrapping for your portion, because if you don't get it, it's going to be gone. And it's also anxiety ridden because it's like, it's yours today, it's mine tomorrow, and it's this battle back and forth between resources. Now, what the author talks about though is we need to shift into the creative mindset, which is knowing that your thoughts create your own reality and you have access to infinite resources in the universe. Therefore, nobody else has any kind of hands in what you can create. Just the same, whatever somebody else is doing, that's their own thing, and it has nothing to do with you. It in no way takes away from you or your possibility. One of the best quotes I think that he says is, desire is I gotta look at it. Desire is this is usually when the edits come. Desire is unexpressed potential. I think that is such an important thing to think about. It's like, I have a desire for something. That means you have the potential inside of you and it's just unexpressed right now. And having the creative mindset, knowing, okay, my thoughts create my reality. I have this possibility. I have all these resources in the universe, and all I need to do is focus my attention on that. And knowing that if this idea brings more life to the universe, everything's behind me. Also, the idea that everything is for you and the universe is rooting for you and there's all these things for you, and not that you have to go out there and grab them and kind of fend for yourself and collect them, because if you don't do it, no one else or nothing else will. And so even just saying those words, I feel more anxious when I think about even talking about the competitive mindset, and I've been there definitely. And it's less to do with not trying or pushing yourself or, expanding. That's the thing. The creative mindset is all about expansion. Evolution is getting higher and higher and higher, so much where you evolve into a higher level of being. That is in science, and he talks about it brilliantly in the book, that you having more life and bringing more life into this universe actually is going to help you evolve and give you more than if you're just scrapping and fighting and really staying in the same level of being that you would be if you're in the competitive mindset. And the whole concept of the book, the idea that I had behind it, he uses some words and some phrases. I will add, actually right now, I'll add the 3 principles of this book, and to give you a little bit more backstory of the creative versus competitive. So he says, if you do these 3 things, then you are bound for creative wealth, right? You're bound, it will happen. Now, I had no idea what he was talking about when I first saw these, and I literally had to listen to it about 20 times. I listened to the book 4 times, and finally on the 4th time, I thought, oh my gosh, W squared. I think I know what you're talking about. And what it stood out in my mind, this is at least so far what I understand, it reminded me, okay, our thoughts create a mold. Our thoughts are creating a mold. The more visual and the more detailed we have of this mold, the better we're going to get, right? So we have this mold with our thoughts, we're creating it. The universe actually fills it in, and it then is going to deliver it to us. But the most important thing, other than those thoughts being so vivid and so detailed, because you're requesting from the universe, these are the things I want, this is the life I want, this is the opportunities I want. The second thing that you have to do is take the actions to get in this place where you can receive that. So when you're thinking about switching over to having more of a creative mindset, where you're like, okay, I have my thoughts, and how am I going to tune into this? You start visualizing exactly what you want with as much detail as humanly possible. You can also add in Neville Goddard, which is feeling that, which is being that. Also, too, in that being stage, you would start doing in alignment with whatever it is, the action. So, for instance, me on YouTube, I have the thoughts of what I want it to look like. I have the ideas of where I want to go with this. And now I'm going to start taking the action so that I can receive those detailed goals and aspirations from the universe. If I sat there and said, oh, I want to be a YouTuber, I want this many followers, I want to be able to make impacts in this many people's lives, I want to be able to travel and do all these things, and I just sat there and hoped that the videos would be created and hoped that somebody would knock on my door or YouTube would email me and ask me to be, I don't even know, run a show, I don't know. It makes no sense because I'm not taking the action to do it. And without the action, I cannot align and receive my gift. So a huge part of the creative mindset is for you to not only think about the details, create the mold that you're going to request from the universe, but also to be in the place in which you can receive it. So anytime you start getting really caught up with what other people are doing and feeling like you've got to hurry up, somebody else bought a house and they're making all this money, and oh my gosh, like this person has already gotten 20 sales this month, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? You know that you're in the competitive mindset, and what you need to do is focus on you. You need to focus on what you're wanting to do, and go from there. Understand that you are very powerful. Understand that you have way more control than you realize. The idea that I had in terms of an analogy would be like, if somebody is baking bread or cake, I love cake, and they had eggs, they had flour, they had all these things, and they mix it together, you know, they've already mixed it in, and you look at them and you haven't quite created things. Maybe you need a couple eggs and some flour. Well, you see their batter and you're like, oh no, they're already ahead. I want those resources. It makes no sense that you would go and try to take from them because you need a couple of other things. You need to focus on going and getting what you need and asking for what you need and focusing on what you need and take the action to do it, rather than try and impede or grab from somebody else, because it doesn't make logical sense when you think of it that way. And that's essentially what's happening. If you see somebody else at a higher success rate, and I use that very loosely, I think that even if you see somebody making X amount of money, it does not mean they're more successful. But you can't go and get the resources that they have right now because it's taken them time and a lot of lessons to get there. So what you need to do is focus on the thoughts you're thinking now, because right now you are creating your reality. So think about the thoughts you're thinking, start being aware of them, think about where you want to go, and then start taking the action to do that. So I highly recommend you read the book or listen to it, The Science of Getting Rich by W. Square. He's my main man. I think it's an amazing book. It really helped change my life on resources, and I'll probably do a couple more videos about other concepts. And if you would like more about that, go ahead and subscribe. And if you like this video, please click like. It really helps this information to get out there, and I really appreciate it. If you have any other questions about this, please either message me or comment below. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.